Look, welcome to the next class of Appium. In the previous session, we discussed about that what is Android, how to install Android Studio and all that stuff. Fine, even we downloaded the Eclipse. Now coming to the next step, we need to configure Android Studio, or you can say Android SDK in my Eclipse. So for that, what we need to do is just open your Eclipse. I might assume that the topic that we covered yesterday and you all are good with that, means you have downloaded the proper Android Studio and you are able to extract the SDK from that and you are able to set the environment variables. Fine. So moving further for this, today we will be dealing with this Eclipse stuff. Fine. We will be triggering the security content and all that in this Eclipse. So let it open. Till the meanwhile, I can open my presentation also. Okay, let's come back. Look, Ashok, I'll explain about at the end that whether the components are properly installed or not and how to check that. Fine. After installing each, like we have installed Java. Fine. We have installed, you can say Android. Now I'm going to configure all that stuff in Eclipse. After that, we'll go to the command prompt. We'll check that whether the things are properly installed or not. I'll come to that point, but at the end. Okay. So this is my Eclipse. Let me close all the stuff. Fine. So after coming to Eclipse, now the first step is I want to configure Android and all that stuff into Eclipse. So for this, what I need to do is I have to go to Eclipse and I have to type some specific command. So on my Eclipse, I would be having this help option. You can also see this stuff. Click over it, and then you have an option of install new software. Okay, click over this install new software. Now, as you can see here, I have option of work with and I need to write here something. Fine. So here, what I need to write here is HTTPS, fine, /DLSSL dot google.com/android/eclipse. Okay, this is the one that I need to use. I'll copy it also. After that, look, after writing this, just click over the enter button and then you will be able to see your developer tools here. Fine. I'll also ping the DSL link. Fine. I have shared the link in chat window also. Fine. So here would be some developer options. If I expand over it, look, all the items are already installed in my system. But as if you are going for a fresh installation, so in your case, this stuff won't be present. Fine. So in this case, there will be some different items like DDMS, Studio, and all that stuff. What you need to do is just click over this check. Yeah, exactly. This would be the ADT plugin only. Look, this developer tools will contain all that stuff. Fine. All the ADT plugins and DDMS stuff, the you can say Android monitoring stuff. So all would be contained in this developer tools. So you just need to click over it, and after just clicking over this checkbox, here this pop-up will appear. This now look, this next button is disabled for me as everything is installed in my system. But in your case, it would be enabled. You can tap over next or finish depending on your Eclipse version. Fine, and it will take some time, basically just 4 to 5 minutes depending on the internet speed, and this will get downloading. Fine. Now after setting this stuff that okay, I have just configured Android, my ADT is on track. Now I need to give the path of excuse me. Now I need to give the path of my SDK. Fine, because look, I told you yesterday also we were discussing about the stuff. I said that okay, we are just downloading the Android for two reasons. One, I can monitor the crash logs so that I can share with my, you can say, my developer. Second is I need to get the location of SDK. So from your, you can say from your studio, we copied the location. Fine, I showed you the how to copy the location from SDK. I got the location from there. Then after that, go to your window option, and in your window, I have option of preferences. And preferences, look, after downloading, after giving that DLSSL command for Android and Eclipse, in your Eclipse, you need to first of all restart it, and then your Android option will come here. If your Android option is not coming here, it means your Android is or your plugins are not properly configured. Like Ashok, you were asking how to check whether the things are on track or not, how to check whether the installation has occurred properly. So this is the way to test. This is the one way. Another way would be through command prompt. We'll also go to that stuff also, but this is the first step. So here your Android will come. Just tap over here, and in this SDK location, you need to give the location of your SDK that you have extracted from your Android Studio. Fine. Look, mine was, even yesterday I was saying that in my F drive. Fine. In my F drive under Android Studio, I have Android SDK. This was my Android Studio, and here I have placed. And this was the path that I was giving for Java, like my Android home and all that in environment variables also. This would this this is also the same stuff. Fine. So just give your SDK location here, then click over apply. Fine, and then OK. Look, if you will directly click over OK, that's also fine. That will work. But why there is a apply button? The apply button is present here because look, many people ask me that okay, I have OK and apply, both serve the same functionality. Then why to click over apply first? Why not to directly click over OK? The main reason behind this is if I'll click over apply and there is some error. Fine. Look, suppose my ADT is not properly configured, or my, you can say there could be any XYZ error. So if there is any error present, it will directly show me that okay, it will give me a error window that there is some error and you need to do it correctly. So that's why what you can say the guidelines of Eclipse, the Eclipse guys who have made this Eclipse, they say that okay, whenever you do something, go for apply and then go for OK. Fine. So after this stuff, look, I'm pretty done with this thing. Okay, let me open my presentation also. Fine. Now look, we have done with this Eclipse stuff. Now what is the next step? I'm done with this Eclipse. Now after doing this all this stuff, look at, if you go to the left side of your Java, fine, this one, this stuff. Can you see this perspective? This small icon present here. Fine. If I tap over here, look, there would be the multiple options like debug, DDMS. Fine, all that stuff would be there. So what you need to do is, fine, you need to select DDMS. Fine, I'll explain that why I am selecting DDMS and what would be the use of this DDMS. Just be with me, I'll explain in the further classes. But first of all, I'll select this DDMS as I have already done here. Now I'll explain the functionality of this DDMS also. Fine. So just select over it and click over OK button. Okay. And after just few seconds, you will be able to see your DDMS here. So now what is this DDMS? Fine. And you can say what would be the use of this tool here. Fine. Look, I have my device is being attached to my system. Okay, my Android is attached to my system, But how would I check that whether my devices properly connect to system or not? Fine. So after clicking over this DDMS, I would be getting these multiple options here, like File Explorer, Emulator, System Control, and one would be of devices. Fine. This will tell me the status of my device. This is my device number. Look, I'm using Samsung Galaxy E5. Fine. So the journal number is Samsung E5, but this is the, you can say, embedded developer key option. Fine. This is a unique number that your Android understands for your specific device. Fine. So this is your device that is related to Samsung, and it is online, means it is active. Now I can just test any stuff over it, and the version is this. So this is a way to test whether your device is properly attached or configured or not. Look, I'll remove my device from a system. Now look, this is gone. If I'll attach it again, this stuff will come. Fine. So this would be the use of, you can say, DDMS. Also, we would be checking the logs. Why will we be dealing with the stuff like what is happening and what all is not happening. Look, one thing more. Okay, let me change it. Just wait for a second. So look, while I'm dealing with all this stuff, fine. While we would be dealing, like, this is the terminology that is more or less used by developers. So this File Explorer helps. Look, this is just for your knowledge. We won't be using this stuff. Fine. There won't be something like that we have to use. This is just for your knowledge. What developers do is, suppose they want to extract the content of their phone. Fine, they want to use some files, or they want to just go to they want to check the database of their phone. Fine, how the database is, how they have just look. Sometimes in some applications you have some offline support. Fine, people used to make some database stuff, and database you cannot manually see the database. So this File Explorer option helps the developer to go to the device and check the database stuff. Fine. This I'm explaining just for your knowledge that why this whole DDMS is there. Look, earlier when Android was in picture, Eclipse was used for the development purpose. This Android Studio is just launched 2 years back. Before that, I'm talking of 2011 and 12. In that scenario, the Android people used to have this this Eclipse only. Fine. So down the line, I was also into Android development, and I was also using this Eclipse only for the purpose of this development and all that stuff. Fine. So this was just for your knowledge that why this File Explorer is. And down the line, while we'll be using this Appium, I'll come to this DDMS again, and I'll explain in detail that what could be the more advantages in the perspective of, you can say, QA also. QA also, what instead of this, look, now we can only use this device stuff. Fine. Let me plug my device. Fine. If I talk of this devices stuff and all that stuff, right now only my devices is in use as a QA. I need to check, okay, device is plugged or not. But down the line, we will be using this heap also. Fine. This heap would be kind of, you can say, this gives the memory allocation. Like I'm suppose automating my app, and I will check also about this heap stuff, that how much memory is allocated to my project and all that. So down the line, we will be seeing all this stuff. So coming back to this Java perspective window. So now we will be having these two different windows. One would be Java perspective, another would be DDMS. Fine. Now what will I do is, now I'll install this PDA-net in my phone. Sorry, PDA-net in my system. Fine. So what would be the use of this PDA-net only? So look, if I want that my device should be detected properly and there won't be any issues. So for that, I have a specific software with the name of PDA-net. Fine. So let me go to Google and write here, and just write here PDA-net. Fine. Okay, let's go to this PDNet. Look, go to this first site, and after that, it is for the Mac. First one is for the Windows. So click over this installer. Fine, this would be as good as my exe file. Okay, so I'll save it in my system. Okay, it's downloading. Just 10 seconds left. So now what we'll be doing is we would be installing this PDNet. Fine, so that our device could be properly detected by my system. Fine. Just couple of seconds more and it's done. Fine. Look, after this PDNet, we need to install some .NET stuff. Fine. We even need to install that Node stuff. I'll explain that why we need .NET. We are not using .NET, but look, for Windows, your .NET is mandatory. Fine. So you need to have a .NET framework for that. Okay, just be with me. I'll explain all that stuff. So click over it. Okay, I'll run it. Yes. Look, this is already installed in my system. Fine, I don't need to install it again. So what you can do is, it's a simple installation stuff. You don't have to deal with something else, like the installation is not so difficult. Look, you're having a good question, Rishabh. Look, sometimes some of the software won't detect your system. Like I have my ADT plugin, but in some of my cases, my device do not properly get detected by my system. So for that, there is this PDNet. Fine. If look, your device is still not getting detected by a system, and you are unable to use your device. So for that purpose, this PDNet is present. Fine. Look, I am telling you all the different scenarios that where you can use the stuff. So look, if you have installed your all the system and you have configured your studio and all that stuff, now the PDNet will help for you. Is this, look, if I talk of, okay, I'll give you a perfect example for that. I have Samsung S6. Fine, you all have heard about this device, Samsung S6 and S7. Right? Look, this S7, it is not easily detected by your system or Android drivers. I have a native Android. We always have native Android drivers when we used to install this SDK. So my S7 is not getting detected. This is a major issue. So for that, I need a third-party library that could help me to use my device. Fine, because look, we cannot give this excuse to our higher management or the person working that my system is not getting detected. Sorry, my device is not getting properly detected by my system, so I cannot test or automate the app on specific device. So for this S7 stuff, or it could be many phones like this, because look, in Android you have versatile phones. Fine, you have a great number because there are n number of companies who are producing these Android devices. So for that, I'm just giving a small example of Samsung S7 because it is the latest one. There could be many more. So for that, sometimes you need some extra third-party library so that your phone, your system and phone could easily correlate with each other. So for that, I'm just giving an example of PDNet. Fine, if you face any such type of challenge. So it's a simple installation. Go for the next and just simply install your PDNet. So after installing your PDNet, like, okay. So in your phone, you would be getting a screen. Fine. That would be saying that, okay, you need to accept this token. That is RSA token. That is, yeah, that is a RSA token. Fine. This means that your PDNet is properly configured and your phone now is, the system is kind of detecting your phone. Fine. So after that, there will be a checkbox. Just click over it, okay, and now your phone would be properly configured. And if you'll go to your Eclipse, just go to your DDMS, and in your devices section, you will be able to see your device here. Fine. Now your device will be properly configured. So look, Now my device is configured, all that stuff is there. Now what more I can do is I can go to my command prompt, and here I can write Android. Okay, system is pretty slow. Look, I just written Android there, and my SDK manager got opened. Fine. So according to Ashok also, that you asked me that how to validate whether my stuff is properly configured or not, and all that things are on track or not. So this is the one way. You can simply go to your command prompt, write Android, hit the enter button. If this SDK manager gets opened, it means that your Android is properly configured. If not, it means that there is some error. Fine. In the similar way, what I can do is for Java also. Okay, I need to close it first. Yeah. Okay, what are the options it is showing? Look, the same is the case with the Java also. Fine, I have written Java, then version. Yeah, you can use this Android list target also. Okay, look, first of all, if your Android is not working, you may use this Android list target also to test it. Fine. Similarly, down the line, like I have this Java version. Fine. So that in this, if I'll type this Java version, I can also test that, okay, whether my Java version is present or not. Fine. So my that my Java is properly configured or not. Okay. So this is a small way. This is you can say another way, but the main way is just go to your Eclipse, open this DDMS, and come to this device section, and you can easily check that whether your device is properly getting detected or not. So your system is properly configured or not. Fine. Look, now down the line, let me open this. Look, down the line, now we have covered all this stuff till this PDA net, you can say. Fine. So now what would be the next step that I would be doing here is, fine. Okay, let me. Now I am done with this stuff till this stuff. Okay. Now I need to start from here. Now I'll install Node.js. It is giving you message Android command is deprecated. Okay, no issues. I'll give you a new set of command to test that. Fine. Likewise, it would be Android list. So it would depends upon your Android version. Fine. For me, it is working. For you, you may just change to the Android list command. Okay, let me go up. Likewise, this as Rishabh has given. You may also use this stuff. Okay. So down the line, look, that command was just to see that your SDK is getting opened or not. Means, look, if that command is deprecated and it is giving you some issues, don't worry about that. That is not the major thing that it will. It is not a kind of a show blocker for you. Fine. That is just for a thing what to test. It could change depending on your device book. Look, if it's working in my device, in my system, there might be that you have some latest jar that I would be missing. So you can change that accordingly. That won't cause any issue or hassle. Fine. So the main thing here is that I want to focus here is just ensure that your system in your DDMS, your device section, your device is getting properly attached, or it is getting properly configured. This is the main perspective here, because if your device will not get properly configured, we won't be able to start our Appium servers. we won't be able to run our code. Fine. So on the similar ground, let's come back. Now I will install this Node.js. Look, regarding this Node.js and this .NET framework, you don't need to go in depth that what is this .NET framework, because we are not linking with this .NET framework. It's just a framework that is given by Windows so that I can use this Appium and all that stuff. Look, we will be using Appium and that would be running on your machine, and your machine is as good as given by it is a Windows based machine or something like that. So for that we need a system so that my Appium could interact with my phone and machine. So that is why we need to install this .NET framework, because look, Microsoft directly indirectly promotes their framework also. Fine. So that's why this .NET is mandatory. Rest we will not be using this .NET framework in any case. It is just for the installation purpose. There will be some internal mechanism that Appium will perform with this .NET framework. Fine. So coming back, just go to Google and write install Node.js. Fine. So coming down here, look, as we are using this Windows, so depending on your OS version, whether it's 32-bit, like I told you about the Java also, whether Java is 32-bit or 64-bit, depending on that, just select any one, whether it's 32-bit or it's 64-bit. Fine, it would be as simple as that, and then just install it. It would be look, the installation will be as simple as that. So I'm not going in that depth how to download it and all that stuff. Fine, that would be a simple task. You just try it. If you face any challenge, anything, just ping me. I can I'll give my Skype ID also. Fine, this would be my Skype ID, and the name over that would be fine. So if you face any issue, any challenge, I have shared my ID, Skype ID. You can just ping me over there. I can just assist you if you face any issue. But there won't be any issue with this installation stuff. I think it is as simple as that. It is just as simple as you just download your, you can say, any MP3 player or any stuff like that. Fine. Now the next step would be download. Just like download. I will download Microsoft .NET framework. Fine. So look, after this meeting, I'll accept your Skype invites. Fine. So what I need to do is just go with the installation of your this .NET stuff. Just go with 4.6.2. Fine. Look, you can go with 4.5 also. That is not the issue. You can install any amongst them that you like. That wouldn't be a, you can say, major issue or challenge of installing any stuff. So it's pretty simple. Click over here, go with the downloading. Look, this Microsoft .NET framework, it purely depends upon your OS, like your Windows machine. If you're using Windows 7, and in Windows 7 also you have some basic, like we have Home, we have Ultimate, we have Premium, we have Business. Similarly, like Windows 8, we have multi, we have n number of options. So this framework, fine. It could be reason that suppose I'm using Windows 7. Fine. Suppose if any amongst you is using Windows 8, so this 4.6.2 might not be compatible. So there could be some issue. So in that case, you can come back and install 4.5 also. Fine. So don't think that you're installing something wrong. Look, this could be some OS specific issues also, because down the line, people used to face this challenge. Fine. When they download it, this framework says that it is not compatible with your Windows version. So no worries with that. Okay, you can just type this download Microsoft framework. excuse me, and then you can select any amongst them depending on your OS version. Look, I can show you about this 4.6.2 also, but there might be case that in with some of your machine 4.5 may work. So I think you got my point. Depending on your OS needs, you need to install this stuff. Fine. So look, I'm going step by step. Please follow the same hierarchy while you are downloading any stuff. Don't miss anything, because if I install Appium first and after that .NET, my things won't work. Fine. Look, first of all, I went for Java, I went for Studio, Eclipse, then I configured the stuff in the Eclipse. Fine. I gave my environment variables first, then I gave the stuff in my Eclipse. After that, I install the Node.js, followed by .NET framework. Fine. If you want, I can also share my PPT along with you, so that this could give you a more clear picture that what to download at what instance of time. Like here I'm saying install Node.js, then install Microsoft .NET framework, and then download Appium. So if you want, at the end of this session, I can also share this stuff. It won't be an issue. So that it could help. It could help you also, that what we need to install at what instance of time. Okay. So coming back here. Now I'm good with installation of all this stuff. Now I'll move to the Appium quickly. Fine. I'll install Appium so that I could be more in sync. So do one thing, just right here. Okay, I have my Appium site. Appium. Look, this is the official website of Appium, appium.io. You all might be aware of the fact. Fine. Now here I have the option of download Appium. Okay, let the site load. Fine. If you will click over this download Appium, it will start downloading your Appium. So choose the one that you want. Like mine is a Windows, so I can simply install this Windows stuff. Fine. It is just near to 100 MB. It will take some time to download. So just download this Appium. Fine. After downloading this, it is as good as a exe file. Fine. So download it, extract it on your desktop, and after extracting it, it would be like this stuff. As you can see here, it would be like this. Fine. So just after doing this stuff, double click over it. Okay, it's taking some time. Okay, no issues. It is taking some time to load. So after double, it will open. I can open it as an administrator. It will run quickly. Oh, it already got opened. Oops, sorry. I clicked it twice. So look, this would be my Appium window. Fine. It would be giving you an option that, okay, checking if an update is available, and there might be an update also. So don't go for that update. Fine. Right now, look, this is the Appium UI console, and the update that is coming to Appium is, look, you guys might be aware of the fact that Xcode has changed its functionality. Apple has introduced XC test. Fine. I was talking of this test also, and if most of you have had a glance over the videos, fine. In those videos, we were using, you can say, Xcode. That was a previous version. So now what Appium has done is they have changed all their Appium stuff for iPhone. Even they are going to change it for Android also. Fine. So the new version are the beta versions that are not so stable. So what I'll highly recommend is, do not update your Appium. If you'll update your Appium, that stuff will not work. Your phone won't be detected, and your hubs won't be set up. I'll tell you down the line what is this hub and all that stuff. But what I strongly recommend is, do not update it. Okay. I'll down the line I'll explain you that why I recommend you not to update it. Why will we dealing with another stuff? Fine. But till this instance, do not update your Appium. So I have this Appium present on my machine. and these are the different stuff being present. We'll talk about this stuff. Rishabh, look, that link won't give you the updated version. First of all, fine. They will give you the this version only, which I am having. After downloading it, extracting it, then it will ask you that okay, we have a new version present at our server. They have not updated that version in their site. If you go to their appium.io official website, this site, they have this, it is 1.0.0 only. They have not updated it here. But after downloading it, if your system is connected to the internet, then it will ask you that okay, my current version is 1.4.13.1, and and this is I have some latest stuff present, and this is just giving me my current version. So do not let it go to the server. Okay, I missed it. Let me read your question again. Could it be possible we can ask the question? So when you downloaded the latest version, just want to ask, do it give you some error like okay, do you, just update it or something like that? Do you get some issue like that? Rishabh, just want to ask you one thing, that when you downloaded it and when you just click over it, do you get the same message that I used to get regarding the updation and all that stuff? Okay, just test it and let me know. Okay, and there was a more thing from this AR. Could it be possible we can ask the question everyone window? Do the question. No issues. You can ask in the everyone windows also. Or you can, if you want to ping me one to one, you can go by one to one also. That's not the issue here. Okay. Okay, we can create a common chat room. No issues. We can. I can create a common chat room. I'll do it. Okay, Rishabh. What I'll do is, off the track, I'll discuss with you that what you have downloaded and why it is not working. Okay. I'll discuss off the track. No issues with that. I'll resolve your case. Okay, that's why I'm also giving you my Skype ID also. Just send me a request, and if you face any challenge regarding that, I'll be there to assist you. So okay, moving further now. Look, I have this Appium. Now the next step is I need to download the jars. Look, in these first three classes, we were pretty dealing with the downloading stuff. We were just downloading the jars and all that stuff. In the next class, now we'll be dealing with the real code. We would be running our first Appium test, and all we will be dealing with the capabilities and all that stuff. Fine. So these are more or less, you can say, just practical classes only. I'm just explaining you to download the stuff, how to deal with this Appium and all that stuff. Okay. So coming back, fine. After that, what I need to do is I need to click over this download button. Fine. And I'm dealing with Java. So in your Appium client libraries, just click over this Java stuff. Okay, let it load. Fine. So in this, you would be populated with this screen. Here, what you need to do is just click over this Java. Fine. So here would be the latest jar, and you need to download it. Just click over this jar, and this jar would be automatically downloaded in your machine. Look, just make a common folder. Fine. So that way you can download all your, you can just keep all your jars on a single location. So just make a new folder with the name of jars, and then you can just keep on placing your jars. Fine. So this one is my Java client. Now what I need to do is, because I was we were just discussing that we would be using we won't be using, actually it is a fact that this Appium is built at the top of Selenium. I was explaining with the pictorial representation in the previous class also. So what I'll do is I need to download all the Selenium jars. So this is the official website of Selenium, seleniumhq.org. Just click over it. Here I have a download option. Just click over this download option. Fine. Now, after clicking on this download option, what I need to do is I need to just download the jars for this Java. Fine. So click over this download. You would be getting a zip of jars. Fine. There would be all the different jars being present. So just save it. Fine. And after saving it, the previous Java client jar just place in this folder only, where you will be keeping your Selenium jars, Selenium Java jars, so that your Appium and Selenium jars, they all could be in same place. Okay, fine. I think this till this stuff everything would be clear. There won't be much doubt that what the things is coming and what all that stuff. So now what I need to do is I'm done with this stuff. Till this stuff I'm good with it. Fine. Let me come here. Now I have downloaded the Appium and I have downloaded the jars. I have all that stuff that is present in my machine. So now what I can do is I can just run my first Appium test. But before running my first test, what I need to do is I need to have a testing framework. Fine. So I want to go with some testing framework. So for that I have different options, like I have JUnit, I have TestNG, I have different frameworks present for my testing. Fine. So for that, now what will I do is I want to install my TestNG. So TestNG would be, you can say, the open testing framework that we would be using in order to run our test suites. Just be with me. First of all, I'll just install this TestNG. Then I'll explain in detail about what is this TestNG and how it behaves and how it works. So now the question is how to install this TestNG. Fine. So we won't be sometimes some people will say that okay, just install the jar of TestNG. Fine. Sometimes some people will recommend you to not to download the jar, just go for the library stuff. Fine. So different people have different approach. What I recommend is go for the library. What is the reason behind it? I'll explain. Look, if I go to this link, TestNG jar, and here I would be getting look, they would be giving me a link. I can just come here and I can download the stuff. I can download the jars from here. But why not to use jar? What is the main reason behind why not to use jar? Look, if you will use a jar file, likewise, if I come back here, like I was downloading the stuff, I was downloading the different jars. If I download the jar of TestNG also, fine. What could be the consequences of that? The main reason is that the main difference between the both would be, come to the notepad. Here could be, I can say, so parallelly, if I download my jar, fine, and suppose there is some update available. There is some update available for that jar, or TestNG has changed something. I won't be ever aware of the fact that whether the things have changed or not. Fine, because look, I already have the jar version. Fine. How would TestNG inform me that okay, man, the jar is updated or it is changed? Please update the same. So they can never let me know about this jar. But if I use this library, fine, because that library would be attached to my Eclipse. So whenever I'll come online, if there is any change in the library, it will give me a pop-up message that, okay boss, this library has been updated, or there is something new in the testng. Do you want to proceed with the installation or not? Getting my point? So that in that case, we recommend to use testng library, not the testng jar. Some guys, because look, some people might use this testng jar also, but you can say that is not welcome process. Fine, that won't. If you will go to the official website of this testng also, these people also say that do not go for jar, just go for the plugin. Look, when I installed Android in my Eclipse, so this terminology is called as plugins. You will never say that I have configured Android in my Eclipse. You will say that I have a plugin of Android in my Eclipse. Similarly, I have a plugin of testng in my Eclipse. The technical word is plugin instead of install or configured or something like that. That are just the layman terms. Fine. So look, if I'll go back to the site, look, this is the testng website. Look, these guys also say that this you have to follow this mechanism. I'm just highlighting it. Fine. So they say, okay, go to help, install new software, and then you need to mention this link, this one. So on the similar ground, I'll go back here. Fine. In my help option, like I did earlier, if you need to install anything in your Eclipse, the procedure has to be same. Go to help, install new software. Now in this work with, copy paste that stuff. Okay. Now look, my testng is also installed in my machine because I was also using this in the previous classes also. So there would be some items present here. Similarly, I explained about that Android. So similarly, there would be some items. So just check over here, and then your finish or next button, depending on your Eclipse version, as I explained earlier, that will be highlighted. And then you can tap any amongst them. You can click over finish, and then your stuff would be downloaded. Fine. And if I go back to the link, those guys are also saying the same thing. Select help, then install new software, and then you need to mention this link. If you want, I can also share this link on common chat window for you all. Okay. And if you want, for your reference, I can also share the link of this. And after that, doing this stuff, just click over next and all that stuff that I explained, and then your things would be downloaded. So look, this is the, you can say, more or less the official site of testng also, and these guys also state this process. So I will also say not to use basically jars. Just try to use library. But this is not the case. Like if sometimes you're working in your office premises and you don't have the access to this jar, this libraries and that stuff. In that case, you can use jar also. Jar is just a hack around this library. But if you could arrange it, I'll prefer to go for this library, not for the jar. Fine. So look, one thing more, while you will be installing this, all this stuff, this test engine, all that stuff. Fine. You might guess up prompt over your window. There would be a prompt that, do you want to install it? The sources are not trusted or something like that. So don't worry about that stuff, that it is giving some message of trust or something. Just trust the certificate and then go for the installation. Okay, because it is a third-party tool, so it might give you some trust certificate. So just trust that certificate and then proceed with the installation. There won't be any issue. So now what will I do is, look, till the time what we have done is we're pretty good with this installation stuff. We installed. If I come back to my PPT, fine. I try to first of all I try to work on real device. What the real devices? I attach my real device. I showed you that, okay, I have a tool with the name of Droid screen. Fine, that easily detect my device, so that this could help you in your n number of cases. Fine. And look, now in the future classes also that we will be working, I will be using this Droid screen only, so that at a single instance of time you can see my real device screen as well as Appium logs and my console logs. Fine, you can see all the three things at a single instance of time. So I would be using this jar, and what I recommend is you guys also download this jar in your offices also. Just download it, so that down the line it will help you for like you are running your automation, or suppose your manager want to see, your client want to see that how your automation is working, so that you can even present to your client also that, okay, this is my device, and you can just share the WebEx link or Zoom link, any link that you follow, and then you can just share, okay, this is the way the stuff is working. Fine. So coming back, then we discussed about this API level and API version. Fine. After that, different levels that are being supported by that. Then then we even enable, you can say, our developer options, debug settings. We just downloaded all that stuff. Look, this up to these two classes, if I talk of these two classes, this was only linked with, you can say, a simple mechanism. Fine. We were not going in depth about all that stuff, how the things are happening. So only the installation of Appium on your machine. Now, till this time, but I think that you all guys would be on track with me. Fine. So do one thing, just go with the Microsoft Node.js, these two things. I'll highlight it again. Just go with the installation of these two stuff again, so that tomorrow if I'm going to run some test suits, you can just refer the videos and you can just go with the downloading stuff. So if you get time today, just go for this video again and just download all this stuff, so that we all of us could be on sync. Fine. So look, now I'm just winding up this session. I'm just winding up a little bit early today, so that I don't want to start with the Appium test right now, because I want that you all should have all your things installed in your machine. So okay, I'll give you this recorded video, and regarding, some people were asking me the batch ID also. Fine. Look, I'll share these videos along with you. I'll drop your email that how to access these videos. Look, the first three classes were free classes. These were only the trial classes. So for the trial classes, we do not. Yeah, Raj, we will cover this dependency, Maven dependency. That's why I have made this PPT. I would be covering all this Maven dependencies, how to do this, how to deal with this Maven dependency, how to download it, and then how to use it in your framework also. In this session, look in this our class, we will be also covering the hybrid framework. Fine. Hybrid framework, nowadays companies are more preferring this hybrid framework than any other framework. In that framework, I'll explain you about this Maven stuff, how this Maven work, how to download Maven, how to make a project in Maven. Fine, but that are you can say that is a bit advanced step. First of all, we should be knowing that how to make a simple project in Eclipse. When down the line, with the passage of time, when would be good enough that we would be making project in Eclipse and we would be running all the test suite, then we would be making project from command line. This Maven is more or less in the command line stuff. We'll make a project through command line. We'll download the dependencies through command line. Everything would be from command line instead of your you can say console. Now what I'm doing is I will go here, I'll right click over it, I'll go to new, and I'll create a new Java project, and my project would be created. As simple as that. But in case of Maven, I won't be dealing with this stuff. I'll open my command prompt, I'll deal from here. I'll explain about that stuff also, but down the line. First of all, we need to be aware that how to make a simple project. Fine. So we'll go there also. So I was talking of that batch ID stuff. Look, batch IDs would be created from tomorrow's class, because for the free trial classes we do not create the batch ID. For tomorrow onward, we would be having a batch ID. You would all be presented with a batch ID, and you could from that batch ID you could access all the videos. But regarding these videos, I'll just because look, these videos are getting downloaded sorry, recorded at WebEx. Fine. So I'll convert it to the MP3 or MP4 format so that you can just see in your machine. But for the next session, I will give you all will be getting access of WebEx only, and then you can just play your videos in a WebEx. Because look, WebEx has a more HD quality of videos compared to others.